Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Zyori Podcast. It is November 10th, 2017, 12:30 p.m., just the middle of the day, mountain time, and a beautiful one at that. We've got another Zyori Podcast. It's been a while, Mr. Trent Pax, but that's because we've been fucking busy. There's been Captain's Draft qualifiers. We were just in goddamn Croatia. I always feel like, dude, we're going to be together. We should record an IRL podcast. It's going to be awesome. And then in the moment, it's always like, why the fuck would we do that? I'm so tired. Let's just do it when we're at home and rested, and it feels good.
Yeah, that was brutal, man. That was I did not get to enjoy Croatia. I did not have a pleasant trip. I was too worried about my damn bag the whole time. Like, I spent all my free time calling airports, filing forms, doing stupid shit, trying to find my luggage. And I didn't get to enjoy it at all. It was very sad.
Maybe we need to start with that detailed accord. I don't know if that's a better spent What the Duck story, but I mean, I thought I had set the record for just our local circle of worst bag experience, and that was at TI when they delivered someone else's lost bag instead of mine and gave my bag to them. So then they had to go back and switch the bags. Whoa! I did not think I was ever going to see that bag again, and somehow I got it. This one, it was even worse. Like, you didn't even know which airport your bag was in, which airline had your bag. You know, usually you can at least point the finger like, United, I'm going to tweet at you till you pay me, motherfucker. If you don't even know which airline to tweet at, you're playing a different ball game, you know?
Yeah. I'll give you guys the rundown. So basically, my very first flight, everything's normal. I check in. It's all cool. But then the flight I'm supposed to be on gets canceled because of the weather that was coming out of Halifax. And so they then have to put me on another flight to a different airport to then connect to a different airport to then connect to where I was originally going to go. So my whole trip gets changed.
Yep.
And then I have my baggage ticket, of course, because my checked bag. And then the person at the desk says, okay, we have to go downstairs and change your bag. Take this information to the guy at the desk. So I take the information over to the desk, hand it to him. He goes, all right, yep, no problem. You'll see your bag in blah, blah, blah. And they didn't give me a baggage receipt. And at the time, I hadn't even considered it, to be honest. So I guess that was my own mistake. I'll never make that mistake again. But I didn't make the connection in my brain that the baggage receipt that I had was now probably useless, you know?
Yeah.
I hadn't realized they would, like, change it all and everything like that. So that was my bad, self-admitted. So I get on my plane, I get to my next airport, and the problem was that airport where I was going, like, I had a big layover in London, so it's like I had to fly to... If I'm not mistaken, I went Halifax, Montreal to London to Paris was my route. And I was supposed to, and they were sending it straight. I was supposed to go Montreal, Toronto, Montreal, Paris. So my whole trip got changed. So I eventually get to Paris, and the people in Halifax now told me my bag was going straight to Split. And I said, are you sure? And they said, yes. Even though I had two different itineraries, which I thought was pretty strange. So I get to Paris, and I go to my next gate, and I say, hey, they told me my bag was going to go straight to Paris, or straight to Split, but I'm a little concerned. Is it going straight to Split? And so the guy makes some calls and stuff like that and goes on down, and he says, yes, your bag is going to Split, you know, but it's going to get there. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm feeling really good about the situation because I was in quite the panic. And then, long story short, I get to Split, and my bag does not come. And I spend the whole week calling. I have other people calling. Bag is nowhere in sight. I buy shitty Croatian clothes that were on the panel and look like a jackass next to Lacoste and his amazing suits.
He did have some amazing suits. That's true.
Yeah, I know. He always looks so good. I mean, he's got like three-piece suits with like nice little tough feather things in the pockets. It's great. And yeah. So then on the day we're leaving, suck dick, don't talk. Nice. Sick. That's quite the chat spam. So yeah. So then basically what happened was I was between three airlines as well. So I'm calling one airline who passes it to another airline who passes it to another airline. And they're all denying responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my other big issue. I'm calling three different people. And then as we're leaving Croatia, I go to the Lost and Found at Split, and Lord behold, it had come in just hours before. So I get my bag, I take out some things that I was really regretting not having in my carry-on, and then I just check it home. It sucked. It totally sucked.
It's honestly ridiculous that you did get it then. I was almost worried what would happen if that bag arrives after you've left. Then what do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know how you start trying to retrieve that thing. You know, I mean, who do you convince to give a shit about that bag from afar?
You're just like back home, so.
Well
yeah,
done,
it did
bud.
make it all the way home, but yeah, it ruined my whole trip. I didn't have any of my clothes. I didn't have.
You had to buy the discount clothes at the one store open in Croatia right after the holiday because there was
2
a national
hours
holiday.
before we started.
Yes.
It stunk.
I mean, you did well for what you had to work with, bud. That's given that context, well done.
Yeah,
that's an A+. That's a gold star.
Thank you. And now I don't have to do laundry.
I will say, well, that's true. I will say, Ma and I had probably the worst travel experience imaginable.
True. Yeah.
This itinerary. So when we got it, the flights for Dota Pit were booked relatively close to the event, so we didn't really have the pick of the litter, as they say. But we knew coming back we would have an 8-hour layover overnight in JFK. That's in New York. Not the best, not the worst either. That's manageable, right? So we look at it closer and we realize, we have a 5-hour layover in Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. We have a 6-hour layover in London. Interesting. And then an 8-hour layover in JFK. That's actually like 20 hours of layovers for 18 hours of flight time. Jesus Christ. What are we doing here? We did end up getting a hotel at JFK. We literally stayed in the hotel for 5 hours. The same lady was working the desk when we checked in and when we checked out. She was like, damn, that was quick. And I was like, yeah, don't fucking rub it in, lady. I know. Believe me, this is not fun. I have not slept for more than like 3 hours in a row for like 48 or 72 hours. I don't know, lady. I lost track. I don't know what time zone I'm in. Because we finished the event. It was one of those, like, how we used to do the old star ladder. Event finishes, usually the last day goes kind of long, right? It went the stretch, all 5 games, even though they were pretty quick games. Dinner was at the after party. That was like the fastest in and out of an after party I've ever been to.
That's a Trend Pack special right there.
That's true.
That's my bread and butter.
We leave the after party at 11. We leave for the airport at like 4:30 in the morning. So even that night, it's like the long day at the event, slept for like 4 hours. So it was pretty intense. But Mott and I did power through. We had a couple of empty-ish flights. I always love being able to watch some of those shitty movies. That one with Katherine Heigl, that new one, it's her latest flick sucks ass. It's terrible.
What is it?
Vindictive girlfriend type deal. Like they get divorced. She's just it's like a shitty version of Gone Girl. Watered down and crappier.
Oh, I liked Gone Girl.
Oh, Gone Girl's amazing. I know. It set the standard high. I will say, speaking of movies, last night, real quick, we watched Get Out. So if you've seen Black Mirror, the second episode of Black Mirror, the main character, the one where on the bikes, 5 Million Merits, the black guy, I don't know what his name is, but he's got a very distinctive voice. I like him a lot. He's the main character. And it's a weird movie, and it's made by Jordan Peele from Key and Peele. So, and it's like 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. So any movie that is written and directed by a comedian with 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's also a horror film, I got to see this. I recommend it 100%.
I think it was the highest grossing for a black director, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
In theaters. It had a bunch of records based on that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was also, was it R-rated or was it just horror?
Well, let's find out. It's definitely horror.
Yeah. Either way, it set a bunch of records in terms of finances and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that was it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's definitely good. Very entertaining movie. Very unique idea for like a kind of a psychological thriller. So the budget was $4.5 million, and it made $250 million at the box office.
That's some Paranormal Activity shit right there.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Wow. So I don't know. Very impressive. It's really cool when you see, like, sometimes I feel like comedians get pushed aside for like it's just dumb humor, and it's cool to see somebody like that like show some depth and like it reminds me of Good Will Hunting. It showed that they were more than dumb pretty boys, but they could actually write a flick that gets your tear jerkers going a little bit. This didn't make me tear up, but definitely made me feel a little bit.
Dude, I could watch anything by those two.
Yeah. Highly recommend.
I don't remember what I watched actually. A lot of my flights didn't have the entertainment system.
Oh, my.
Brutal. So
well, at least you had Seinfeld on your phone.
Exactly. So. Yeah, I finished out Seinfeld and a lot of Countdown. I'm really into Countdown, this British like game show, but not like the normal Countdown. So it's basically, do you watch panel shows at all? I'm really into panel shows like QI.
I mean, I've seen.
You know
some.
what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jimmy Carr also hosts a panel show called 8 out of 10 Cats. I've never even seen the normal show, But they have a secondary version where they then play Countdown with the people from 8 out of 10 Cats, and it's hilarious. I find it so funny. And it's just like this game show where it's like word games and number games. It's pretty fun. So I binged that a lot too.
Okay, yeah, that's
Good
a good.
Any of the
guilty
Brits
pleasure.
would know. Yeah,
yeah, it's a good time waster. You learn some nuggets along the way.
dude, it's hard. Jesus, the number one, I'm way better at it, but my God,
yeah, shit's brutal.
It's tough. Yeah, see, I see some Brits in the chat. They know what's going on.
But travel woes aside, I think Dota Pit really, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, they talked a lot, like in the interviews, about the difference of a big venue event versus like the intimate event and kind of the advantages of it being small scale. I think the audience was capped at like 100 chairs, like if that, maybe it was even more like 50 or 60. And we experienced that a bit at the Montreal event, the Northern Arena one, where very intimate, very similar feel. But I felt like Dota Pit stepped it up, where instead of it just being like a couch with a black curtain and a plant, it was like an actual set, you know, with lights and like, I mean, the lights were a little bright for the small space. I won't lie. I think it burned my retina a little there, but it had a really cool feel, and it made it feel like more than just just another event. And that was a lot of fun there, Trent Pax. I enjoyed getting being able to host something. You know,
and a lot of the players, I talked to a lot of them, which was also nice, just hanging out with a lot of just players, which I don't get to do very often.
Yeah, right. Well, because everything's in the hotel, so everyone's just there. You know, you see
around all the time.
Yeah, you go to eat, and there's just players there. They're so accessible.
Yeah. But they were all very happy. They all like that style, I think. Not that they don't like big arenas and stuff, but it was definitely a break, right? This is like post TI. Yeah. I guess if like PGL was like that too, right? Where it was kind of there was no crowd, I think, at the PGL one, but Star Ladder and then ESL Hamburg are obviously much bigger events. So I think some of them enjoyed the little relaxation.
Yeah, I think it definitely goes both ways. But that was also my first time doing a 3-person panel. Like, I've never hosted an event that wasn't a 4-person panel. Literally everything we did at BTS was 4 people always. The only time we ever did 3 were like random tri-casts, or like if somebody was sick and there was no one to fill in. But I felt like it was pretty good. I'd never worked with Lacoste before, so I wasn't sure how well he would mesh with the panel, but I thought it was overall pretty good. I mean, you always have those moments where you get to that point and it's a long day and you're like, all right, it's the 5th best of 1.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to see, boys? Well, we saw 1 game from this team, so I don't know. Envy could pick anything here. Let's see what happens. Let's talk about the patch. So it was a lot of fun, though. It's really awesome. It's like a really unique and great opportunity to be able to host an event right after a patch, because I feel like it makes my job super easy. There is just this entire laundry list of new crazy mechanics that we can just theory craft on. Like, that's awesome. I didn't nail all of the winner interviews, but some of them we got some cool questions in there, you know. Can we talk about that?
I don't even want to talk about it.
I'm so glad that was not clipped on anywhere or any, like, you know.
Yeah, if this was last year, you would have been done, though.
There was a time where that would have been the front page of Reddit of just like, look at this Dinkelberg, and now we have so much. It's like this is the Trump era, dude, and it's trickled down into esports. You can get away with much more ridiculous shit than you used to be able to. And what can I say, man? I had a desire to switch it up. I felt bad for poor KP having to do 3 or 4 fucking interviews. Same goddamn questions. Oh, son, how you feeling? Hey, so you're the only one that speaks English. Is it hard working with those guys speaking Chinese? No, actually, I speak Chinese just fine. Oh, awesome, cool. Glad that's not like, you know, every interview with him is that same kind of shtick. So
it's identical. Yeah.
I tried my best, man. I did, honestly, though, I did apologize to him after that. I don't know if it was seen on camera at all. I have no idea if those mics were hot, but I did kind of, I felt the cringe, and I just kind of went, hey, sorry about that. I was just trying to switch it up, and, you know, sorry if that got a little weird. He was nice about it, but fuck.
You're going to have to explain for everyone who has no fucking clue what we're talking about.
No? Oh, God. Let's plant the seed. We'll let him find it, right? Let him dig. I'm sure Camel Cash will pull it up in about 10 seconds. Fun experience. It's cool.
Overall,
I don't stage host ever. Honestly, I was thinking about it. That's the closest to stage hosting I've ever come. I've always been a desk host.
Yeah, that's true.
So
the interviews or the handoffs and all that stuff.
I felt like, given that, I was fairly happy with my stage hosting performance. It is definitely a different beast, man. I was trying to pawn those interviews off on somebody else. The group just collectively
Yeah, you
was
tried.
like,
We were like, no, that's you, buddy.
yeah, fuck off.
Sorry.
Fuck off with that. Hey, Trent, you want to add interviewer to the resume? Nope.
Yeah, no.
Not even once.
Overall, though, in terms of the games, very high quality. The Roche refresher, I think, is the coolest thing to happen to Dota in a long time. It's mega hype. Makes those longer games be pretty intense. Big fan.
Yeah,
if there's too many big comebacks because of it, I could see that being a problem. But largely, I don't think that's been the cause. Or I mean, rather the impact of it. It's just kind of felt like a pretty hype thing to add.
Yeah.
It forces out buybacks, which are really nice. It speeds the game up that way because people are way more inclined to buy back for Roche now. And then they come into the middle of the map, and then if they die there, it's just like, oh fuck, you know.
Yep.
It's not just like waiting to the last second to buy back or something. And
yeah, I'll be honest, dude. I mean, I learned a lot watching those games, but I still have not played the patch yet. It has been all hands on deck since we got back with Midas mode and Captain's Draft, and like in a good way. You know, it's really cool when your problems shift from like, holy shit, are we going to be able to sell enough ads to pay for this tournament? This budget is kind of a lot of money. And then once you sell some sponsors and Kennedy Space Center actually writes you a check, you're kind of like, hey, guys, okay, we got some money. This is awesome. And now we have a whole new set of problems. Like, how do we fucking work this ATEM that we just bought? You know, oh, geez, we got to book this hotel. Let's go for it. You know, it's good problems to have, but it's pretty exciting, man. I mean, Midas mode is what, a week away? That's scary to think about.
That actually is scary. When's my flight? Let's see.
16th? 15th?
16th, yeah.
There you
6
go.
a.m. Whew, be there bright and early.
That was the idea, bud. Thursday is rehearsal day.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's
yeehaw.
Honestly, though, it's really coming together. I'm excited to kind of reconstruct the studio and the set and all that kind of stuff. I think people are going to be very excited to see what we have in store. Some of the content that Slacks has been working on is like, dank isn't even what is like the threshold above dank? It's like ripe, you know. It's fucking it's oozing. It's too much. It's
ripe and oozing. These are your word choices. Okay.
All right, I'll redact it. Dank is the word I was looking for. Very good. I'm pumped. Mr. Midas he's growing.
I hope he gets in the game. I think that career looks awesome. Big fan. It's so funny. His little money wings.
I'm cynical. I don't believe, but it would warm my heart so fucking much, man.
I still wouldn't use it though. Those 3 donkeys are too cute. I'm sorry, but I'm sure many people would. So there's that.
So how about those Captain's Draft qualifiers, dude?
Captain's Draft, pretty fun. That was my first day actually, but I have many more to go.
Oh yeah.
I've been doing because someone else was scheduled to do Captain's Draft, so Lyrical hit me up to do some Summit qual, so I was casting with him, and then suddenly there was a panic of needing people on the friggin' Captain's Draft, but it got solved. People managed to get their shit, so that was good. So when did I get home? I don't even remember, geez.
Complexity just qualified. They beat out Immortals.
Yeah, that was hype. I watched that last night.
As well as...
And Empires qualified. They beat Vega. And so, yeah. I think C finished up as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Got a few teams. Was it Mineski, I think, qualified?
Probably. Yeah, because the Ice Ice was owning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mineski.
So shaping up to be a pretty good-looking Captain's Draft tournament there.
It's only China and Europe. And God, people were said it like, who win? So Secret was direct invite. Our Europe qualifier still to be determined. And if you guys couldn't guess, a lot of the teams you're like, where are they? Declined, you know, like Liquid, Newbie, I think declined, VP as well. So
yeah.
Oh, but now Newbie ended up being in the qualifier because they couldn't agree to the invite at the time. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
if I'm not mistaken, because they are actually playing now.
That's
good. Sure we did try and invite them.
I mean, Newbie on LAN, always legit, dude.
Yeah, and they're currently in the winners finals right now but it's VG Gaming who they play against, and both of them 2-0ing their opponents. So that match is actually not for a while. It's not for another 3 days, but that'll be pretty hype. What other tournaments are going on right now?
I don't know.
I guess we're just prepping for Midas mode. The Summit quals are going.
I will say, in terms of Captain's Draft announcements, tickets are going on sale very soon.
Really?
By like...
I didn't know that.
Pretty soon, yeah. So that deal is just being finalized. It's actually kind of interesting when you start really like, what's the best way to do tickets? You know, do you sell like one that includes all 3 days? Do you do individual days? Are all the days, do they all cost the same, knowing that some are weekdays and some are weekends? Do you charge more on the grand finals day? You know, all sorts of different things like that go into it. But I think those agreements are pretty much in good shape. So that's like the number one question I think we've been getting is like, when are tickets on sale? When are tickets on sale? So believe me, folks, when that shit is ready, you will be the first to know. But stay tuned to the social media. There will be an announcement on the Dota Cinema YouTube channel with all those details and links to find it. That'll probably be the first source. So stay tuned over there, and you can get yourself tickets to DC. Hype. The only LAN in North America, mind you. Thank you.
No, the only LAN in America.
In America, outside of TI. Outside of the international.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, aren't we? We're still on the rumor mill that TI's in Vancouver. Possibly.
I don't know.
Didn't you see that?
I'll believe it when I'll believe it when tickets are on sale. Let me put it that way. I mean, maybe. Yeah. You never know. Visa stuff is fucky in America right now. It's possible, but also that's a little crazy. That's a big change. So
yeah, I hear you.
So we'll see.
Doesn't matter for me, honestly. It's just as expensive either way. Except I don't get the obnoxious TSA people, so I am down if it's in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I'm fine to go to Canada. I like Canada. It's a nice place. I've had a great time every time I've been there.
Opposite side of the country from me, so no benefits at all. Complete opposite side. That's my map over there. That's why I'm looking over there, just so you're aware.
Oh, good. But it's going to be.
I guess I can show you. There you go. There you go. Oh, there. See that giant map?
Wow.
That's what happens when you're a geographer. Got all kinds of maps. I got a map of Prince Edward Island shipwrecks. I had some other map. Oh, I have a map of Nova Scotia and the general area over there too. I have a lot of maps.
Trent, I also want to remind people that Washington, D.C. is one of the most accessible areas on the East Coast. So, you know, if you live in a neighboring state, it's just a 2-hour train ride away. It's really that easy.
I don't have a long enough cable to zoom in over there on D.C., but it is quite accessible. I can tell you as a geographer, you can get there.
You can.
So
it's very nice.
So what about Midas Mode then? So it starts in a week, as you said. We have our teams. I think we have our teams.
we mostly have our teams. Yeah, I mean there was a little swapperoo there. It looks like, but c'est la vie. I think it's going to be darn tootin', regardless. It's one of those things that it's hard to judge teams objectively. Like, oh, this team's way better. It's like Midas Mode has so many curves in it that. You know, I think any of these teams could potentially do well. And, you know, you can be prepared for upsets because it's just a completely different take on drafting and, making teams. And, like, with bounties as well, you know, there are going to be some weird bounty challenges where people can get mega moonbucks. And if teams do that, you know, it could really influence drafts. And not to mention the new heroes are going to be in it, right? So we're going to see fucking Willow. We might see a little roly-poly-oly pangolin there. It could get pretty feisty.
You know, he went unpicked in 2 games today in Captain's Draft.
I heard, yeah.
How disappointing.
Indeed. Yeah. You want to talk about a real juicy topic here, pal?
I love juicy. Oh, literally juicy, or
no? I want to talk about curveball. I want to talk about Fallout Gaming.
Yeah,
and
let's go.
The amazing PR statements.
Hold on. I don't wait. Let me just 1 sec. Do you have a voice recorder so I can? There we go. Just stop my video here. Yes. Okay, I'm ready to talk about Fallout Gaming. This is definitely not Trent now. All right. I don't want any of these fucking legal notices.
It's true. You got to protect yourself. But
terrifying.
I mean, dude, the key is not to say things that are untrue, right? And that is really the lesson of all of this. And do you have a link to the thread? I want to be able to read the statement. I thought I had it, but
the statement that he made, I have his Facebook post. I have a link to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, it's in go to our DMs on Discord. It's like the third last message.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it.
Yeah.
So for those that haven't seen, I don't have any idea what's going on. Somehow, some way, one little tweet that I made replying to just a random person on Twitter ended up getting posted on Reddit, where I said that Fallout Gaming is a sham org, broken promises, they owe us money, and really hard to work with. And that was pretty much it. Very general, just broad statements. And that prompted this whole waterfall of people to come out of how they've been wronged by this organization or other organizations.
It was the hashtag #MeToo of Fallout Gaming.
Tangential to it. It was the fallout of Fallout. So it became this really odd scenario where Pandora's box was open. It reminded me of Northern Arena a little bit, right? That was another one of these shitty situations where they owe us money, and I have exhausted every other path of communication I know. I have called, I have left voicemails, I've LinkedIn'd, I've emailed, I've Facebooked.
You faxed.
A text, every C level of the organization I have tried to contact, and they have just not responded at all. And it's like, well, that's great, guys. This is a $15,000 bill. I think I'm going to need to collect this pretty soon. And then they literally only responded when we tweeted about it and said, hey, these guys owe us money. They haven't paid anyone. As soon as we did that, my phone erupted with text messages from producers, from team managers, from players, wondering like, oh, you didn't get paid? Well, shit, I didn't get paid, but I thought it was just me. They told me that I was going to be paid next, and, I was next in line. And then, the next person says basically the same thing. Oh, well, I thought it was just the producers that didn't get paid. You mean teams didn't get paid either? I'm like, yeah, they only paid EG and Alliance and the other big teams that were actually ready to bill and make a big deal about it. And, the poor Southeast Asian teams and the ones that don't really speak English, they just kind of went, what are you going to do? Talk to our lawyer. And, we had enough reach that we could publicly say, hey, this is a big deal. And I guess, that limits their ability to sell sponsors on future stuff. So it kind of tanks their whole company if there's all these PR statements out there and all this liability. So essentially, they paid our debts so that I would retract my statements and send Score something that says, hey, these swell guys did square up with us after all. Like, that's kind of the TLDR on that situation. And it's shitty that we had to do that. It makes us look like assholes, and it also makes us kind of look incompetent, like, well, why would these guys not want to pay you? And sometimes it's just because they bit off more than they could chew and they don't have enough money. That's what
it usually ends up being.
Yeah, that might be what it comes down to. And that sucks, but also not my fault. And one of the things that MOONDUCK does as an agency, it's like we bill on behalf of talent for events like that when we're staffing it. So we pay talent fees on delivery of service. When that event is done, it's like, hey, Trent, job well done. Here's your money for doing that event.
Speaking of which.
Thank you. Right? So
my man.
From a talent perspective, we didn't give a shit, it's okay. But for MOONDUCK, it's like, why are we floating this cash, and why does it have to become a matter of public record for us to really get this thing resolved? So frustrating, but in the end, it did kind of work out. We got paid, and I think they probably still have some debts out there, but I think they did pay some of the other producers and stuff. But anyway, this is sort of similar how there's this waterfall effect, I guess, that kind of comes out of other people like, well, I've had issues with them with this, and then I guess that recent event they did was real shitty, and that's what prompted a lot of people to be really upset. Yeah. And of course, it's the same general group that did the Dota 2 Major All-Stars tournament. Was it like 2015 or something that I worked with? It was me, Gods, and Winter, and it was one of the worst events ever. They didn't realize that we had to upload a stream. I don't know what they thought was going on, but they were just like,
it's the magic.
Oh, you need internet on these computers? Like, yes, we do. And they didn't have it set up so that there was no observer. So one of the computers, I was doing camera, and that was going to the stream. And on the other computer, Winter was controlling, and that's what was on the projector that the audience was watching. So you have the analyst doing directed camera and the play-by-play caster both doing directive camera. So you're both casting at like 50% capacity because you're focusing on obs. And you have a microphone.
But you were at that event with the fire?
Yeah, that was the one with the fire. I think it was Dendy's computer caught on fire in the booth. The thing is, they had done concerts before. That was their event experience, and they had never done anything with that kind of connectivity. Like, the night before, they're fucking stringing Ethernet cables across the venue. I mean, this is Southeast Asia. It's not wired up the same way that a tier 1 venue would be in Canada or the United States. It's a completely different ball game. And they just weren't prepared for it. And that happens sometimes. You step up to a LAN, you don't necessarily realize all the requirements, and you make the best of it. And that's kind of what we did. But the real shit stick with that event was that they promised like-in sets to everybody in attendance, but they had no way to track tickets to Steam accounts. They didn't have like TI where you log in. That's a very sophisticated system that Valve created. Third parties can't do that shit. So after the event was done, they said, hey, Valve, you could just give us like 3,000 codes for this like-in set that we promised everybody. And Valve said, no, we don't do that. We'll give you a couple hundred promo codes for giveaways, but We don't produce them in the thousands. That like it's an economy, dude. We don't just give shit away, you know? They're worth something, and you can't just make promises like that. So they had no way to deliver on that. They were every time someone complained, they would just buy a likense set out of the store and just send it to their Steam account manually. And thousands of people attended this event. So enough people didn't get their likense sets that they reported them to the Malaysian version of the Better Business Bureau, and they got in trouble, and supposedly that's why all their events have not been in Malaysia since then. You know? So that's where the rumor mill comes in with the whole like, okay, their event that they were doing got shut down early because supposedly they didn't have an event license. But
where'd you hear that about the license?
Well, that was the rumor mill. That was the kind of stuff that people were posting. So hard to verify, right? And it's one of those things like, you know, it could have just been an innocent mistake. At the end, they took it to court, and the statement was that like, okay, this was... You actually weren't in violation. You don't need a license to be able to do these things. So it sounded like they were unfairly prosecuted for that. And unfortunately, it disrupted their event, and that's what brought up all of these things that we're just describing in some of their track record history. So where it gets real murky and why people are getting in trouble is when that crazy chart of that flow chart of how all the companies are connected, and everyone started saying
whoa, careful. Whoa. That's where you're going to end up posting some fucking message.
No, I mean, that's okay.
Careful.
Hey, whoa. I'm saying we're talking rumor mill here. None of this is verified. None of this.
Yes. All right. I'm just clarifying.
That's fine. That's fine. But this is all context, right? Everything that has been said so far is verifiable fact. That's not a big deal. So it's, you know, but that's what opened Pandora's gate, right? Or Pandora's box, rather, was this stupid infographic.
Maybe it's bigger than a box. Maybe it is a gate.
It really is. Well, that's the thing.
Pandora's gate. We're in.
Dude, it's a classic internet. It's like a 4chan thing. You know, you look at this flowchart, and when you see it out of context, you're like, whoa, this is really fucked up. How could this be? And then you realize, well, this is just somebody's opinion. This is not actually the flow of how their businesses own each other. It's just something that someone created in kind of like a satirical worst case scenario, right? So the mistake is that a lot of these journalists and a lot of these other people, these influencers that had to make these statements, were posting that as like, hey, this is a fact, you know, saying all of these things about this company. And if you don't know that flowchart's a fact, that's where it becomes slander, right? Me saying they owe us money, if they actually owe us money, that's not slander. That's a statement of fact, right? That is the difference, and why some people got cease and desist and why some people haven't. All of that was backstory to get to this point so folks can kind of understand why this is happening and what's going on. Because that's the point where, you know, in theory, right, it's not to say they haven't messed up events or done something wrong, but you can't just say like, oh, well, I think these guys own these guys. Oh, look, here's a picture of TNC. They're claiming they own them. Like you can't just say, you can't write an article and cite that as a source without verifying it's true just based on conjecture of someone else. That's bad journalism, and you should get a cease and desist for doing that, you know, because it slanders people's names to say shit that's not true. So that's the problem here, right? And it turns out some of that stuff that was posted on Reddit just ended up not being true, you know?
Yeah.
So
and some people posted it as fact and then had to place.
So I don't know whether
you have not
right.
You have not been contacted, correct?
No. Well, they sent us money. They did pay up. They paid the debts that we were owed.
Shocking. Oh, you make a
so,
post
in full disclosure,
pays.
And in full disclosure, we're square. I posted that on Reddit earlier this morning.
I saw that.
Yep,
yeah.
they paid what we're owed. So as far as I'm concerned, we're all good. I'm sure they'll never want to work with us again, and that's totally fine. I don't know if we're interested in working with them. So it's a mutual disrespect at this point, and that's just kind of how it goes. And that's that. So I don't know whether to feel good or bad about this whole thing. It's kind of unfortunate that it ended up going down that route where it became more conspiracy than fact. And, you know.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
It's a bummer that's
shitty.
how it turned out, right?
Do you think they'll keep the major status?
Good question.
I don't think they will.
I actually do think they will.
I'm hard-pressed to think. Well, my problem is, who the hell's going to produce it?
Well,
they can't produce it. There's no way.
That is a serious question. I don't know the answer to that one. But in terms of Valve, like I think Valve is very much like I would imagine they see it like we made a commitment. So like bad PR is not a reason to pull the plug on this thing. Like they haven't done anything illegal. You know, if they withhold payments to players, sure, that's a big deal. If there was something like tangible black and white like that, it would be different. But this is a lot of conjecture, and ultimately Valve is very into this free market hands-off thing. And I think their take is, if people hate them that much and nobody wants to work with them, then who's going to produce it? Who's going to watch it? If the event sucks, then they won't get another one.
It's qualifying points.
Huh?
It's qualifying points. So teams are forced to go. That's the problem.
It's true. And I'm not saying that's ideal for the ecosystem. I'm just saying I think that's what will happen. I think Valve will stay hands-off and just let the event see how it goes. And maybe, like, I think Valve will give them the opportunity to impress us. Maybe that's a more positive way to say it.
Yeah, that's a very positive. Geez, man, they might hire you back after that.
But
Christ.
That's kind of true, though, right? Isn't that what it is if they don't shut them down? It's an opportunity to say, hey, this is still $1 million event. Maybe they'll invest some of that money in making sure this is a tier 1 experience for players, talent. I mean, you know, maybe the free market says that means they need to fucking step it up and make these conditions awesome to get somebody to want to work with them.
Well, I will wait to be impressed. And when is their? Hold on, I have a calendar like right here. Unless you know off the top of your head when their tournament is.
Oh, I'm not sure. It's coming up relatively soon, but I can't remember the date off
I don't
the
think
top
it's
of my head.
that soon. It's like February or something, maybe. Hold on, check through December. MDL Macau. Oh my god, it sounds amazing. Would I ever fucking love to go there?
Yeah, dude.
So sick.
I thought the same thing. I saw that announcement. Just please.
It's Galaxy Battles 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is January 15th. Starts on my birthday to the 21st.
So it's right after Captain's Draft. Okay.
Yeah, and there's also the GESC Minors right before that.
Okay.
In Singapore.
Yeah,
according
so it's
to my
gonna
calendar.
be like the tour to Asia.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, it's.
I wonder if
do you
think anyone will go straight from GESC? I guess some people probably will go straight from GESC to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it starts the very next day.
Absolutely. Stay on the time zone.
Yeah.
Be prepared. I think absolutely.
Wow, that'd be crazy. All right.
Yep. From DC to Asia. It's the run a lot of teams are going to make. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. You know, I honestly, I don't hope that it's a shitty tournament because I don't want Dota tournaments to go poorly. I want this system to be successful. True. We've already had one major canceled. I don't want this to be a disaster. Honestly, nothing would make me more happy than to see them come into this event with tier 1 teams, a tier 1 production company, tier 1 talent, and fucking nail it and knock it out of the park and be like, hey guys, we learned from our mistakes and we know how to do a good event. And that means we have one more awesome player in the Dota space. And I think that only bodes well for the future of the ecosystem. So I hope they can step it up. I'm trying to be positive here, pal.
Yeah, no, it's good. I agree. I mean, that is the dream scenario, right?
I mean, my New Year's resolution, try not to be such a dick or whatever it was. Or try not to be a cunt, something.
Wow, I can't believe it's only 3 weeks away from Dream League Major, too. So that must be the next major. Yeah. Perfect World's a minor in China.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a tight schedule.
It sure is, bud.
It's crazy how we have these cool like months of I like how it's worked out. I like that we had a month of qualifiers in September, then we had a month of lands in October, and now we have a month of qualifiers in November, and we have a month of lands in December. It's neat.
It is sort of interesting how that worked out, you know.
Although according to my schedule, there are no qualifiers in December and January. No, that can't be right. They're just not scheduled yet. Never mind. I'm gonna say that would be impossible. I'll give you guys a link to this calendar, by the way. This calendar is amazing. There you go.
Thanks.
It's baller. It's a really nice calendar. It keeps getting updated with all the qualifier times too and dates. Give that thing a bookmark.
Yeah, it's true. It's nice to have an auto calendar like that. So yeah.
Knoxville
anyway,
updates it, and Deja maybe.
Yeah, that was a nice little rant there, though. My God, I'm like I'm coming down from the high of letting it all out. You know, it's got to simmer down.
It's wild. But anyway, we didn't even talk about Master Ramen, right? He had to obviously put like. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was one person in particular who tends to post a lot of this kind of stuff. You know, he's definitely a gossipy type, right? There's no doubt about that. He likes to be in the forefront of these communications. And if you guys didn't see it, he had to post like a big ass apology.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, unfounded, false, without any evidence or proof to substantiate, and recognize that I must have caused Fallout Gaming considerable embarrassment and distress.
It is kind of funny though that like, you know, it's the Reddit threads hit the nail on the head. You know, in this situation, Reddit is like the PC version of 4chan, and it's like, guys, you can't censor ideas. We are many, you are few kind of mentality. And you just read the comments and it's all exactly what Master Ron was saying. It's just people copy and pasting it. You can't, you know, it's so transparent. It kind of does damage control in a very like corporate bureaucratic way.
It's pretty much worse, honestly.
But yeah, from a like trying to be that organic, like, hey, I'm one of you. It's like, okay, well, we now know that you are like, it's as corporate as it gets, you know?
Yeah.
The wording is so funny. I would like to unreservedly apologize to Fallout Gaming if any of my previous posts or comments shared on social media or elsewhere has caused reputational damage to them. In particular, my posts, shares, and or comments which have in any way associated and or implicated. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. You know, if you're going to ask him to do a redaction and like, you know, make an apology, at least just let him do it in his own words so it doesn't sound like you had a gun to his head. You know what I mean? It's craziness.
Yeah.
I did like that comment from Cyborg Matt though. That was well reddited, sir.
What was his?
He said, "If there's a gun to your head, blink twice."
Oh.
And I said we're square with them. But no. So it's definitely a weird situation. I have mixed feelings about it. Ultimately, it's good that some things were revealed, but it's a bummer that, you know, some people get cucked in the process.
Well, that's the life, I suppose. What else? What else has been going on in my life? I mean, new patch, super fun. I've been saying this on a couple of different streams, and I'll tell you guys, I have the hot take. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see if it's still true. Hold on. I think Bounty Hunter's on the up. I think this hero is going to be broken as all hell.
Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter. His pick rate hasn't changed. All right, his win rate has actually gone down a little bit. Currently, yesterday in 5K Plus, his win rate was sitting at 58%, which is extremely high. It's a very high win rate. And then, so I was trying to figure out, now he hadn't fully balanced out for a full week or anything. So like today he's at 57%. So not quite as good, still pretty high. But I was trying to work out exactly why Bounty Hunter should be a lot better. And a lot of the stuff adds up. We've lost those wards through the river, which are one of the best ways to spot him when he's moving in between, because you have like a ward sentry combo, or he uses the invis after he comes out of the water. Those warding spots are gone. That double bounty rune being super close to each other down bottom is really good for a bounty hunter. Same thing with up top. They're obviously very close. Right now, offlaners can stay in the lane a lot more than they used to be able to. If you think about how you used to play offlane, you were almost always back at the bounty rune at the 4 or the 2 minute mark doing a stack or something to get it for yourself. But now, because polling's so much shittier, for the most part, you're contesting in lane as an offlaner, which means that they don't get the rune right away, which means it's easier for a bounty hunter to steal. And so you grab the opponent one, and you go back and you grab your own. Earn can now upgrade into Spirit Vessel and the item's ownage. You don't have to buy Greaves anymore. You buy Phase Boots now instead, too, because you can just one-shot the Courier before people can use the invulnerability on it. So all in all, Bounty Hunter seems pretty ownage.
Dude, you're making me want to play some Bounty Hunter pubs. I haven't played shit on the patch yet. I really need to try. Does it still feel like the patch of carries, even with like the anti-mage nerfs and some of the other tweaks from the B?
That's a good question. I think, man, you should have. I mean, if that Spectre just won, it must be.
It's true. That for context, that was the Spectre that died to the enemy fountain at 7 minutes. About as slow a start as it gets, and about as good as a recovery as it gets, I guess. And
as Mosquito's pointing out, Bounty Hunter talents have always been really good, and they all get buffed. Or at least the 10 and 15. I think they just both got number tweaks up. It's like 25% XP now at 10. It's amazing. Everything's better about the hero. What can you expect? Good hero.
Wow.
But yeah, you're right. I think Cinderin played amazingly that game in order to facilitate that comeback, but Spectre was pretty ridiculous. He built Spirit Vessel. I called it in the draft. I was like, man, get some aggro Spirit Vessel. Although I said he'd get Mask into Spirit Vessel, which he didn't. But it was still pretty hype.
You know, you can't win them all, bud. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, I'm glad you're casting with Suns fan. I got real confused. I kept talking about Mott, and you're like, why are you obsessed with Mott? I'm casting with Suns fan. Oh, okay. Poor Mott, man. He got off the plane, and he was casting that day after our 40-hour travel. And then the next day and the day after that. It's been brutal.
That's what I did, too. I mean, I agreed on the flight. I got home, I slept for like 6-7 hours, and I just started casting right away with Lyrical, which was lovely. I haven't cast them in forever, even though I think we've cast the most games together. Out of, like, in terms of, like, my partners. I can't remember if it's me and him or me or Mott, who's my waifu. It's one of the two of them, you know?
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to play some Dazzle as well. I saw somebody did an off-lane Dazzle the other day. How'd that work out? Did you see that game? Who did? Oh fuck, who did it? Moo. I think Moo did an off-lane.
Oh no, I definitely missed that. I mean, he's got the 60 damage talent now at 10. I've been wanting to see some core Dazzle. I think he'll definitely work in like a 3.5 cents if he shares gold with like a roamer or something.
Yeah, I want to try that in pubs. I'm sure they'll be very friendly. Honestly, I'm excited to play the season matchmaking or whatever. Isn't that starting real soon?
Yep, really soon. I think maybe today.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Tomorrow? I don't know. It must be soon. It's probably. I don't know when it is actually. Probably Monday, maybe.
I deserve a little treat. You know, we're hitting the slopes Sunday morning, getting a little outdoor time. We bought season passes this year, so I got them nice and early too. $300, not bad.
Are you actually serious? You have season passes?
Yep. I'm buying new boots tomorrow. We're going ski shopping. I'm getting new boots. Carlo's getting skis. I might actually get skis as well.
Oh, should we go skiing? Can we go skiing when I'm there? Can we make that work?
Absolutely. Carlo and I literally both have season passes. The mountains just opened last weekend. There's only 4 runs open right now, but it might be more by the time you get here. Who knows? You never know.
Oh, I love skiing so much.
All right.
Oh.
We're in.
But do we have time?
You're actually staying one extra day than everyone else. We could go. We could probably make it happen. Maybe.
Dude.
Most likely.
That would be
might have an off day.
Amazing. That's true. We might end up having an off day. Oh god, I would be so hyped if we went skiing. I love skiing. What do you think's more what do you think's better to like bring your gear or to just rent?
Well, for flying international, I don't know. But I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm rent,
but I'm really frugal.
Yes.
And I like my skis and my boots.
Usually it's like we say bring boots, rent skis, because boots are smaller and more important. So if you can find a way to like check your boots in a bag.
Yeah, I could fit my boots because I don't need that much stuff.
That's a good compromise. Then you could rent skis for like $30.
Bring my goggles, my helmet, all that stuff.
Helmet, my god.
Well, you guys don't wear a helmet? Are you serious?
Fuck no. Are you kidding me?
Fucking America.
It's powder, dude. You just bounce right off.
Why are you insane? What are you talking about?
You also just don't fall.
I guess you guys have real snow, maybe. But there's still trees, and it's not you. It's the other idiots you need to worry about. That's like saying it's safe to drive a motorcycle.
I mean,
that's the reason I stopped driving a motorcycle, because everyone else is an idiot. That's why. God.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Can we pull a curveball here? What are we at? We're at 50. All right, so we got like 10 minutes left.
Are you about to talk about Kevin Spacey?
Well, we could talk about Kevin Spacey.
That's what I thought you were going to talk about.
I want to talk about Louis C.K. It's a brother from another mother. Now, this one, Trent...
That's what I was going to go into, yeah.
Okay. All right, so... Fuck me, man. All right. The Kevin Spacey... We talked about Kevin Spacey for a good bit at Dota Pit during rehearsal day, actually.
My favorite... Whenever anyone asked who my favorite actor was, it was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. Suns fan.
I feel betrayed.
Same way. He was in my top 3 easy. Big Kevin Spacey fan. So I'm like, talking to Trent, trying to be like, yeah, but maybe. Yeah, but I don't. And then like Trent's like, dude, look, there are like 6 others. No, dude, seriously, look, from like 8 years, like, dude, seriously, it's fucked. Everybody knew. There's no way they didn't know. He's a fucking diddler. It's bad news bears. So dreams are dead. I can't watch American Beauty the same way again. It's just, it's all too real. It's like watching Bill Cosby himself, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, this is way too real now. It went from funny to fucked up, dude. Too real, Bill. The Louis C.K. one, this one's a little different. And I spent about 45 minutes this morning yelling at Megan about this. I have this problem where I talk at people sometimes, Trent.
No, not you.
It's happening more and more, and I don't know how to stop. I have a problem.
Yeah.
But God, I don't know. I saw some people tweeting about it as well, that it does feel a little bit. It's like accusation is assumed guilty, and it's
dude, he
weird.
Definitely. Well,
I don't. Dude, the Louis C.K. one is fucking weird, man. Like,
there's so many people.
I know, but it's still fucking weird. A lot of them, like the one was like, he asked me if he could do it. I said no, and then I left. I'm like, okay, well, that is sexual misconduct, I guess. I see how that makes you uncomfortable, but that's different from like Kevin Spacey groping young boys. You know what I mean? I
agree, yes.
It's creepy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fetishy, and you have to remember that Louis C.K. is stupidly fucking popular, so, what do you think his success rate is? If he goes
already admitted it?
Did he? Oh, God.
Like
all right.
Kevin
it's
Spacey.
over.
I fucking told you.
Everyone's fucked, dude. The world's fucked. It's all going to shit. What's going on, Trent? Like, serious? Like, is this? Are we at this point where it's like the world is it was always like this, and now just everything is more accessible, and for the first time ever, people actually have a platform to be like, yeah, this is fucked up and it happened, right? Is that what it is? Or are we actually in this time that people are just getting more fucked up? Like, it feels like this last 6 month stretch has just been, this guy ran over somebody with a car. Oh, this guy just shot 3 people in a Walmart. Oh, Louis C.K.'s been fucking jerking off in front of actors for 30 years. Kevin Spacey, critically acclaimed actor. Oh, House of Cards, fuck that. We got to pull the plug on the whole thing. Like,
I think
what's happening?
The thing is, it's not just about like it being sexual misconduct and all that shit. It's because like the power dynamic is the thing that I think most people ignore about this. Like it's an abuse of a power, right?
Yeah.
He is above them. He has control over their income and their lives, and he's using that, whether he's gonna admit it or not, he's using that as an attempt for sexual gratification, and that's why it's so fucked up. It's not about. It's not saying it's not fucked up to want to masturbate in front of other people. That's not fucked up. Whatever. That's your sexual thing. That's not the issue. The issue is that he is using it from a power standpoint. And it's the exact same thing with Kevin Spacey, and it's gonna be the exact same thing with all these other fuckers like Weinstein and all that other shit.
Right.
Like,
I mean, that's true, right? Isn't that is the fundamental thing about rape? It's more about power and control than it is about, you know, the actual sexual aspect of it. So that's very true. Then that's what makes it abusive. Very and
it's
very
not
well
new.
Said.
Like
it's
this shit's been going on forever.
Of course.
I think it is.
It's a mixture. Right?
It's amazing to me, like, because Corey Feldman is trying to raise a bunch of money, right? He's doing a Kickstarter for like millions of dollars to attempt to make a full documentary about Hollywood and I believe pedophilia and like child abuse and stuff like that. And it's fascinating that at the same time where people are justifying that idea and how he needs to raise this money and how he's not speaking out about people, but yet now all this stuff is coming about all these people and their careers are all collapsing around them. And I wonder if that's going to change his attitude towards if he thinks he can actually come out with some of this stuff. So it should be pretty fascinating to watch this kind of stuff over the next coming weeks.
Yeah, still, it's fucked, man. And honestly, with Louis, there is something about it, again, that when you go to his jokes, it's like,
I know.
It's funny brutal. When you think it's jokes, and now that it's like all too real, you're kind of like, fuck, I don't feel as good laughing at this, you know? Like, I am definitely I'm like, on that side of, you know, safe space versus free speech. I tend to side on free speech, you know, and I like the idea of people being able to be edgy and say things that make you uncomfortable and kind of push your boundaries of thinking about stuff like that. However, it still kind of makes me uncomfortable when you know it's real, you know? It's like you watch a rape scene in a Hollywood movie and you know it's fake, you know? It still makes you feel bad, but fundamentally it doesn't make you feel like, you know, you're watching something that's really terrible because you know it's actors and you know it isn't real. And that's what makes it different from when you find just some random video on the internet. You go, oh, what the fuck is this? Jesus Christ. And you turn it off, you know. It has that. It's fucked up, man.
I should read the apologies. Is it really long?
Oh, God.
Let's see.
Please
how long
post
is
it. This happened in the interim of like me taking meetings and doing this podcast. I was reading about it this morning.
These stories are true. At the time, I said to myself I did that what I did was okay because I never should have won my dick without asking first, which is also true. Oh, okay, wow. But what I learned later is that when you have power over another person, asking them to look at your dick isn't a question; it's a predicament for them. Oh, this is literally. I swear I didn't read this first. I've been remorseful. Blah, blah, blah. Do you want me to link it? I'll link it.
No, I'm looking at it right now. These stories are true. It's exactly what you said. Holy shit, Trent. Well, guys, we timed this podcast perfectly. It looks like this came out literally right when we started. So,
yeah,
man, the world's a fucked up place, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it always has been. It's just now we have way more media coverage and whatnot.
Yeah, it's way more public. But what a bummer. What a bummer. Well, at least his apology is more genuine than Kevin Spacey's, right? At least this is like an acknowledgement of the true kind of source of what's going on, rather than Kevin Spacey's, what did he say? I'm gay. Right?
Yeah, people are asking about the balmy Grand thing.
I'm
I don't
down
know
to
about
pivot.
you. I'm down to talk about it.
All right, enough about Louis C.K., that fucking bitch. Fuck you, Louis. That's my final thoughts on that.
Yep.
Who else is going to be on our shit list before the end of the year, dude? That's what Megan said. No. Who's going to be next? I said Reba McEntire. That's who I think is coming out next. Gonna come out that fucking Tremors is based on a true story and that she was fucking abusing Bert. She was jamming metal dildos up his ass, and that's why Bert had the elephant gun. It's dude, Just you wait. I'm calling it right here.
That would be a real snipe. It was fucking Reba McEntire. Who would hurt me if Keanu Reeves? I would be devastated if it was him. I'm trying to think who would like hurt me the most. Is there anyone worse than Keanu Reeves? Nicolas Cage would be kind of weird because he's just always been this kind of kooky, wholesome kind of a guy.
I said if we came out retroactively,
Tom Hanks,
that Philip Seymour Hoffman was a diddler, and we just found out, even though he's dead, they found his diary or something. Jesus Christ, dude, that one would break me apart. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's my new number one now. He's Bay, so he's dead, so you can't fuck it up anymore. So I feel like that's a safe bet. Robin Williams, another big one.
Morgan Freeman. I don't really feel that connected to Morgan Freeman, but I could see how that would be pretty sad. I really like Christian Bale, personally. I'm a big fan of a lot of his movies. That would piss me off. Leonardo DiCaprio. That would be weird.
Yes.
That would be a bit of an odd. That'd be like a Tiger Woods fall from grace.
So, Baumi and Grant, Trent.
All right, so, I'll start.
Do it,
I think
please.
You already said something. So, personally, I'm shocked so many people took what Grant said seriously. Yeah. Is that just me? Like, I watched the clip, and it's so obvious that he's being a completely over-the-top, sarcastic asshole. I don't know how you couldn't tell that just by watching the clip. I mean, I was watching it live, too. Maybe that helped. But I don't understand how anyone could think he was being serious. Like, he's even doing his, like, back in Warcraft. Like, the second Grant puts his hands up and leans back in his chair. Like, I don't understand how anyone...
No, you're totally right. It's a clear tell. And he started talking, and it was like a normal answer, and then he did the, and he put his hands together and sat back. Back in the Warcraft days, you see, people made maps for fun, and now you're out there with your Patreon for making some game a donkey could have built. Like, I agree with you. I mean, we know Grant, and the big thing that people said to me when I tweeted about it was that, out of context, for people that don't know Grant, it's not obvious that he's joking. And my gut reaction was, that's a you problem.
I was shocked.
I don't know.
I can't believe anyone thought that was serious. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny. I think a lot of the modders may be a little thin-skinned. I'm sorry. I know they're going through a really rough time, and I know they're super stressed out, and I think that's why the reaction was so bad, because they're all trying to do this contest, and Valve's fucking them over.
Yes.
And I'm sure Grant would also be 100% on their side, but he's just being, like, he's just doing his character. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I can't believe that people thought he was so serious, and it made this big stink. And then Baumi goes, because I know Baumi's been all about these. I don't know much about the guy. I know he's hated on Reddit. I know that he really wants to be a part of the Dota Cinema Hero project because apparently he does a lot with custom games. But he just comes off as, I don't know. I don't think we'd hang out.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're totally right.
I didn't even watch the video. I mean, it was way too
really
long for me to care.
I mean, it's like 26 minutes long. I got the Spark notes from multiple independent sources, and I got the gist of it. He's really angry and hates Grant. And I mean, we not gonna lie about it. Grant definitely has a dark past, a gray area in his history, if you will, and he has definitely said a lot of mean things to a lot of different people in a lot of very different contexts. And some of it is rumor mill. Some, you'll notice that a lot of the things that people say are just like, I used to have proof, but then I threw the proof away. So it was there though. It's like, that's a great story now, but it doesn't carry as much weight. So I don't want to play the he said, she said about specific things that Grant did or didn't do to people in the past that speak to his character. I agree with you. In the context of that clip, he's just being an entertainer on Dream League. It's meant to make you laugh. It's, it's like when people make those sarcastic YouTube videos and stuff. He's just trying to get a rise out of people. But you're right. It's compounded because it just hit a really sore spot about an actual real issue. The main thing that I want to say to all those people is, like, your fight is not with Grant, dude. Your fight is with a greater good. I admire your energy and your vigor for your cause. It might be a noble fight, but channel it in the right direction. In the end.
I can tell you that much. This was definitely a net positive for those guys because it was just more attention on the custom game issue. Because I can tell you one thing that happens every single time a custom game thread gets made. Every single time, no one gives a shit the next day. Yeah. Every time. I guarantee, if it wasn't for this Grant thing, no one would give two fucks about the rest of this Frostiness contest unless they're going to make a new thread every single day. So he's welcome. They're welcome for that. I know it wasn't his intention, but I definitely think net positive guys. So thumbs up. Got lucky.
I agree. And it's one of those things like, sure, that you want. it's nice that we have this dynamic, right? We have talent that are willing to kind of be the bad boy and say something that's going to piss people off for the sake of a joke. And I think it's really great that we have a community that is willing to push back and be like, okay, funny or not, for real though, this is the actual problem and this is important and we should care about it. It's nice that there is passion on both sides. And it's good that we have that fire. And if we didn't have that fire, then we wouldn't have the same scene that we have. That fire is part of what fuels us, you know?
Yeah.
So it's part of a greater good, guys. And I admire the passion. But, yeah, you know, it's Grant. I
sincerely hope
a grain of salt.
They get the help that they need from Valve. Because there's definitely some serious issues. Like, it sounds like a lot of them were just, like, almost done their custom games, and now they're all just fucked.
Yeah.
So I do tremendously, like, feel very bad for those dudes.
It's awful. It's a lot of work wasted in the context of trying to do something that could be cool, right? How many of us as like pundits and influencers have said, how come Warcraft 3 had so many better custom games than Dota? I tried to play Angel Arena and it sucked, you know? And then like people complain a lot about that kind of stuff. And this is actually an opportunity for people to give a shit about making a game and present it where a good game could get some spotlight. And now it's fucked. And it just sucks to feel like your time was wasted, you know? It sucks to put your time into anything thinking that it'll at least have a chance, and then you get there and go, oh, wow, no, this isn't even worth fixing now. Thanks. This is real great. I've got a week. Okay, I'm done. Fuck you. Fuck.
Yep.
Just
yep.
fuck.
I feel really bad for them. Obviously,
so that
I
sucks.
understand the
yeah,
problem
that really
they're going
blows.
through, so, yeah. Good.
So, yes, good. But, yeah,
that one had me, I have to say that one had me laughing a lot, though.
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting how, you know, it ended up spiraling into something more. Of course, there was one kind of nasty comment in particular that was later deleted, I think self-deleted. But it's interesting that Grant is really, he is kind of this charged character. You know, a lot of lovers and haters. Maybe the most polarizing character in Dota 2 right now
from a
talent perspective. Huh?
Him and Cyclops.
That's true. That is very true. I don't know. It's weird to me though. I like Grant, and it's interesting for me to say that because 3 years ago I never would have thought that's something I would ever say. He was what I felt like my arch nemesis for the first like 3 years of my esports career. Just like it seems like this guy fucking hates me, and he like it was just this awful thing back and forth. And I don't know. Some of me feels like in retrospect, like he was kind of right. I was just real shitty at what we were doing compared to, you know, other people that were working in esports. It's because you're new, you know, it takes a while to learn and all that kind of stuff. He was just a dick about it, but he wasn't wrong, you know, like there was a point where any creative outlet is like that, right? Like I've heard people say this about like playing an instrument or like doing carpentry or doing fucking pottery, like anything that you have to create, you suck for the first couple thousand hours that you put into it. You know, think about college. You're just shitty at it. It takes a lot of practice. And what separates like what people think of as truly creative folks and the failed creative folks are the people that are willing to grind through that like 2,000 to 8,000 hour hump when you're like kind of working as a semi-professional and you're just still kind of shitty at your craft. You haven't gotten enough hours into it yet. Esports broadcasting is the same fucking thing. It's just a raw grind. So that first couple years, you're objectively shitty.
Dude, I would not even be able. I literally would not be able to go back and watch any of my casts because I just think about like last year, and I think I was so dumb. And I remember thinking last year about the year before and thinking about how I was so dumb and so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it's so frustrating and difficult because Dota's also evolving so much. So you can never catch up. Everyone's just always like totally shit.
Yeah.
So.
It's weird how you go back and I was doing like YouTube videos I made in 2015. I'm like, oh my God. I thought this was good video editing. Am I crazy? What is this crap? What are these lens flares? What am I doing here? You know, it's it's sort of an evolution of things, you know. And I don't know. It's a rare thing. Somebody like that who's so outspoken. And part of me wants to see Grant succeed, though. You know, part of me can't just ignore some things that some of the allegations of the past. You know, it's a weird sort of dichotomy, but. I don't know. I feel like Grant's kind of been on the straight and narrow as of late. So I'm happy to support that as long as it keeps up.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, speaking of random other news, we're never going to end this, by the way. Sarah just ran to get oil from Walmart. Apparently she needs oil for the cars. I have to change. I think I need to change the oil this week, but weekend. Anyway, did you hear they are making a new Star Wars trilogy?
I saw an announcement.
Directed the new one.
Isn't that insane? Is that? That's nuts.
I mean, I guess it's not that crazy, obviously, because Disney bought it. It's not like they're just gonna do 3 movies and be like, "Well, this was a great couple $1 billion."
That's true.
You know,
they're milking that thing for all it's worth.
Yeah, like it's obvious that eventually there'll be more movies, but to just start another full trilogy, very exciting. I guess it's the same guy who was a lot of the creative mind behind this current one. Apparently, they're extremely pleased with The Last Jedi. I'm so hyped to watch that, by the way.
Yeah,
can't wait.
I think we're going
that
to
in before Washington. Really? Isn't it coming on Christmas? Am I wrong?
Well, dude, I don't know. Have I ever told you about our Christmas parties? We're doing it this year. Nobody's going home for Christmas. We are doing Jingle Fest 2017, and it is going to be...
I do remember this. And you had a giant playlist of all the Christmas episodes of sitcoms and shit, right?
Oh, dude, we're expanding it this year. Carlo's going to be here. The girlfriends are going to be here. We might fly some people in. Dude, we need to get Rob here. We need to Jingle Fest this right. Woo, it's going to be hopping. I can't wait. Jingle Fest, man. It's going to be good stuff. You know, I'm excited for Thanksgiving. You know, Midas Moto's over Thanksgiving. We're going to do some good old-fashioned American holidays.
I did American 4th of July. I guess, I mean, you know, we also have July 1st. But
you're getting the full spread, dude.
Yeah, I'm getting all kinds of American holidays.
It's going to be legit. It's going to be good. There was something else I wanted to say to wrap this up, and it is now eluding me, Trent. But fuck. Things are moving. It's busy here.
Sounds like Festivus.
It's very exciting. It is a little bit like Festivus. Some influences there, but not one-to-one. A lot of pine candles, fake tree, a lot of booze, a lot of food, a lot of movies. Tree.
Come on, you're in Colorado. Go get a fucking tree.
It's a pain in
the
ass. Are
you serious?
Dude. It's just a fucking pain in the ass.
It's the adventure. Come on. Come on.
Dude, Netflix is getting fucked. So Disney's pulling its movies, and they didn't re-sign 21st Century Fox. Yeah. Damn, dude. Damn.
Yeah.
We might need to cut down some of these Netflix subscriptions.
True. Yeah. And ours just went up too. But not by much, I think.
Trent, I know you can't see it, but I got the Life Pure Recovery shirt, dude. We got the shirts in. It's pretty
Book of Life.
You want one?
No. I really don't.
There's a fat deer on the back, dude. It's real sick.
Oh, wow. Now you've changed my mind.
You know, we're sponsoring a CrossFit competition.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's happening during Midas mode. There's going to be 2 CrossFit athletes staying at the house during Midas mode. It's going to be
2 of them.
There's 2 of them.
That was only 1.
It's 2 now. One of the others dropped out, so we got another. It's going to be good stuff. So, expect some tweets from the CrossFit competition. You want to go with me? Check it out.
If I have time, but if we can use that time to ski instead.
If I have time, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I would be so excited if we got to go skiing.
Well, we're gonna have the
last time I came.
We'll have the detailed schedule soon, so we can actually figure that out if it's
Fingers
possible.
crossed. Try and work it in, dude.
All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it, folks. You'll find this Bad Daddy on the website, Zyori.tv, as well as on the Moonduck YouTube, youtube.com/moonducktv. Get at us on Twitter. This was a big episode, Trent. We talked about some heavy topics. This is nice. We just got in there.
When was our last one? Weeks ago.
And we talked about topical bullshit compared to this. So that's it, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.